Boom! We are live. Roundtable episode 46. Um, Little announcement. This will be the last roundtable that basically gets featured in 2025. We'll bring it back. I love doing the show. I'm just going to take the break. I have a lot of TV that I'm doing. I'm doing another show with Coho that will be launching soon, so I have to watch some movies for that. Not School for Dummies. That still probably has not come out. While when Roundtable returns, guess how many episodes that they had done at that point. But we're doing that. Speaking of, tomorrow, I think tomorrow on the channel, title match starts. We have a teams match. It has been announced. Bring Out Your Dead is taking on the future. Yeah, future. Back it again. Joseph and his backpack are defending their belts. God bless Joseph for giving fucking killed Toho a fucking title and ruining my entire fucking season. And then you've seen all the horrible beef that's online. That I guess they planned this a while ago. I just want
this is real. This is real rivalry. What do you think?
I just want this on the record. I did not approve. I did not get asked. If I got asked, denied. It just started posting. I was like, what the hell is this? Dylan versus Payson championship on the line as we head into final act. I haven't announced this anywhere. Thursday, we're going to recap act. Now that it's on Monday, I was like, when do I do this? I have all these other shows. I have Wednesday, Friday. I'm going to do it on Thursday. About 8 EST, we'll break down, preview Act 5, leading to the final act. Trios, all that stuff is coming to an end. We're going to have, I think right now on the books, 6 matches that will happen in final act this year. So we filled out our card. Brawl is up there and running. So yeah, a lot of things going on in multiplex. But tonight, we're going to talk about some films. Well, 4 films and something that shouldn't have been even rated by the MPA. But first, Mark, my partner in crime, my also co-founder of this channel. What did you bring today, and how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. And I guess technical end of the summer. I thought bring in something that I saw like around the end of the summer. I also told Joseph I'd pick like the same actor as him. I forgot I told him that, but so I decided to bring in Logan Lucky, for that.
Oh, okay. Did not know there was a deal on that, so that's interesting. Jake, I love when you're on. We have to plan this around times that you're free from work. Oh, also, Roundtable will be returning different date. It will no longer be on Sundays. I'm moving it. Announcing soon.
Good for you.
I'd rather do it during the week where I don't have to football, other things that I would like to watch. I just don't want to do it. So we're going to move it probably to like maybe a Monday night. Maybe that's football too. But maybe Friday. Who knows? I don't know what we'll do, but we'll move it around. So it will no longer be on Sundays moving when we return. But Jake, what'd you bring?
I brought I think an underappreciated, underseen film from the 90s, and that is John Sayles' 1996 film Lone Star. A film that I watched for the first time this year and want other people to watch it.
That's fair. Oh, this year, and you brought it around it. Must be very good. Next up, Joseph Olivas found us late. Then I took it away from him like right after he started doing shows and feel like, hey, we're done for the year. But Joseph, how are you? What'd you bring?
I just want to say in advance, I hope Mark didn't feel like pre-obligated or forced to do anything.
Well, good job, because he brings shit if you leave him to his own devices.
Because the last time we did a double Mel Gibson, I asked him, do you want to try again? But this time you pick the actor. And he's like, Channing Tatum. So I was like, sure, I'll do that. So I went through Channing Tatum's filmography. I looked at a couple of movies that I had not seen before. Last time I brought a movie that I was going to rewatch. This time I wanted to do a movie that I had not seen before. So I was between 3 movies, and I ultimately decided, you know what? I think of these 3 movies, I don't want to overstep on Mark's choice. So I think the one that he's least likely to pick is Foxcatcher. So that's why I brought it.
Okay. So we'll see if that logic was actually on brand or off. Mark will tell us later. Hi, Jeremy. I really like you on this show. What'd you bring for us?
Thanks for having me back again. I don't know how many more times I'll get to say that after today, but I really do appreciate it. I also wanted to bring something that I've never seen before. All year long, I've just embraced first time watches. Just anything and everything, expand as far as I could. And I think here we expanded pretty goddamn far. This is going to be my entry for like the Why We Love Horror Letterbox Challenge. It's Takashi Miike's Ichi the Killer, and I'm sorry.
Killing does happen. I didn't know what I was gonna bring. But I was on call with Dylan Vantine, and he's like, "So what's been picked so far?" And I went and I think it was like Foxcatcher, Lone Star, and Ichi the Killer, and he's like, "Oh God, who decided to bring that to you?" And I was like, "Jeremy is like." I was like, "Am I gonna hate it?" He's like, "We're gonna despise that movie." So then I decided to say, okay, well, I need my safe space movie. I need a movie that's going to make me be a palate cleanser for it. And that was Mrs. Doubtfire. Not that I think it is the greatest conversation piece for a show like this. I just needed it to be able to bridge it between. I literally watched Logan Lucky, Ichi the Killer, then Mrs. Doubtfire. I was able to bridge them pretty far. So I was like, okay, I'm stuck between comedies, so we'll be fine. Yeah, so we're gonna get into it. This is like the first time that I've seen 4 of the films before they got
Same.
bought. So I think that was interesting. Not a bad
2 for
thing.
me.
Just it's normally doesn't work that way. Normally I'm like, I would have never heard of this movie. No, I heard of most of these. So first up, we're gonna do Foxcatcher. Yeah, pros. Let me just say a hot take out of the way. Just a hot take. I don't know if this movie gets credit because it's good, like beyond good, or it's because they take a bunch of characters that don't normally portray these kind of characters and make them portray these kind of characters. It's kind of how I felt. Like ultra dramatic Channing Tatum, ultra dramatic Steve Carell, and it's just like maybe a shock to all of our systems. But this movie is melodramatic as fucking hell. Like this movie is depression in wrestling. Like I thought every time when I was in high school and I saw the wrestlers work out and train, they look like the most depressive, sad sacks I've ever seen in my life. I never want to fight them, but overall, they just look miserable in life and everything they had to do and go cut weight and do that stuff. And they are able to capture this super well inside this movie. Like it just seems the pressure and like on top of them, you feel it the whole time. Is that anybody else feel that way about this movie? I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad film, but I remember when it came out, I did not watch it, and it got praised like a lot. And then I watched it, I'm like, this is solid. And then on a rewatch, I think I have thoughts, opinions about it. Like I don't love this movie, but I'm curious because this is my first time watching for Joseph too. So you all can take it away from there.
Yeah, so I picked this because I remember at the time there were a couple of people when Oscar season happened that were very, very upset at Jake Gyllenhaal being snubbed for Nightcrawler, and then Steve Carell with his nose job gets nominated for this one. So I wanted to participate in that discussion of, yeah, let's hate on why the Academy sucks. And I watched this movie and I liked it. Like I agree with Cody said. Very melodramatic, very heavy. I read Mark's message about how dour it is, and it makes me laugh every time because in the chat I read it in his voice about how dour it is. But also, I thought that it was very well done from an understated and muted tone and direction style that Ben and Miller had, and the 3 performances as well. Even though I don't hate the idea that Gyllenhaal should have been nominated that year.
I'll say that I remember this movie coming out and it being a film that looked like it was going to be a big Oscar contender. This is around the time when I was just getting into the Oscars, and so I was watching, premature Oscar prediction videos, and someone had said that Steve Carell's winning Best Actor. It's just undeniable, and it's just the trailer hadn't even come out. It was just the one still image from the movie, and that got me intrigued and wanting to watch it. And I remember watching it with my parents before the ceremony, and finding it very unsettling. Like I felt like I had to have a shower afterwards. It's that sort of unnervingness that just is really not what I was expecting from this sports biopic. But I rewatched it yesterday, and I was reminded that it is a very fascinating story. And I think that's the thing that Bennett Miller really gets right, is just how off-putting John DuPont is, not necessarily in his mental well-being, especially as that becomes obvious as the movie goes on, but in his absolute just bubble of wealth and money and power. And that was sort of the thing I really liked about the movie, is that this is someone who just cannot, who has to be in control of his life and his destiny, with this, and be surrounded by wealth and people who will say whatever I want them to say. And I think that's one of the things I really like about the movie, is that element of control that DuPont has over his people at Foxcatcher. That's one of my favorite aspects, for sure.
That was so funny too. When I heard DuPont, I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" I didn't know this. I know the name and I know the money and like the thing like that. I'm like, "Oh wait, it's crazy! You killed someone." Like that's the new thing, and he's involved in wrestling. Totally over my head. I was just like, I'm more curious now about that family than I was curious about the movie at that point. And even I watched it the first time, it didn't even resonate. I guess I was young. I don't know. I just didn't resonate.
I definitely did not really remember much the first time.
No.
Yeah, this was a first time watch for me. I intentionally avoided this movie when it came out. Like I looked at everybody, just the way everybody looked, and I was like, I don't pay attention to wrestling. I don't know about this story from the late 80s. That nose is ridiculous. I'm not ever gonna watch this movie. And if he hadn't brought it, I probably would still never watch the movie. I will say I'm very impressed by it. It is very well made. Like every detail is very well done, and each performance is very good. I still didn't like it at all. Like I think it's what Jake talked about. Like I'm not not on a film basis, but like I felt off. It's off. Everybody is off-putting. The only character that seems has any normal is the wife, Mark Ruffalo's wife. She behaves like an actual human being. Nobody else in the movie does. And the fact that that's a true story makes it even more unsettling that these people were around breathing oxygen in the real world at one point. It's fucking crazy. So like the weird factor makes me like it more than I would, but I just from all the technical stuff, it's fantastic. The score is amazing. Like I don't know if it was nominated that year. I don't follow the Oscars. I don't know if that, but well, there you go. There's one to talk about because it's great. Like that's definitely a ripoff.
Mark, you haven't said anything.
I feel like Dave, Mark Ruffalo wasn't that inhuman.
I was going to bring that
I
up.
would say he's more the emotional anchor of the film.
He's the closest to a human.
Right.
Of the main characters who are like actually,
he just play with his kids and stuff, but then also like it's weird that he doesn't go over and like shake the guy, like that he's like, yeah, hi, hey buddy, when it's like the richest dude in the country and he just kind of passes him off and it starts an argument. Like it's weird. Everybody behaves strangely.
Well, if you saw John DuPont and he looks like a skeleton, like what would you have? What would your reaction be?
Well, when we get into the bad, I'll have more to say on that. But Mark, you haven't said. Go ahead.
Okay. I mean that's just weird. I feel like Mark Ruffalo is automatically recognizing that I probably should not respect John DuPont. Does not seem like the weirdest thing to me, but whatever. I do find it weird. Like I guess I did watch this in theaters. I honestly liked it kind of from jump. I honestly kind of liked it more as time has gone on, mainly because I feel like this has become, I think, an interesting companion piece to Moneyball, just in a sense that Bennett Miller, like I like that Bennett Miller has made like these like sad sack sports stories where it is about Moneyball is 100% about a sad sack. Billy Beane loses, and the Boston Red Sox go to win the World Series where he was offered.
But that's the end. The whole movie's not a sad sack. The movie's like defying the odds.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Billy Beane. At the end of the day, Billy Beane is still a loser, and he ultimately told a story about
money rules, baby,
about a person like who lost in sports. Yeah. And I think that's super interesting because that's not really what sports movies usually are. They're, they are these fun, like uplifting stories. Like, I mean, sure, like we've had sports movies where like the heroes like have lost. Like, I mean, but like I watched the end of Rocky and I don't feel bad. I still feel like I could run through a wall afterwards. Like, I mean, it makes sense that we get a sports biopic about Kurt Warner. Because Kurt Warner, like, is an interesting guy. Like, he went from bagging groceries to, like, winning a Super Bowl. Like, everybody is aware of Kurt Warner. But, like, they'll never make a biopic about Jim Kelly. Because nobody wants to watch a movie about a guy who lost 4 straight Super Bowls. But here comes Bennett Miller going, hey, I'll make, like, this really depressing sports movie where basically, like, nothing good happens to the guy that we're following. And it's just a constant reminder that in the world of sports, there are winners and losers, and Bennett Miller cares about highlighting the losers.
Well, okay.
I love that take.
I don't want to give it any more weight than more, but the Moneyball thing is just way off base. It's just way off base. He was supposed to be a loser because he had no money and he was defying the odds, and they went on the run. Yes, he didn't end up winning the World Series, but he changed the game of baseball forever.
Hey, Cody, the year before, like how far did Billy Beane get in the playoffs?
The year before?
Yeah, where the movie started.
Oh, they lost. They went to the playoff first round. I guess I don't know.
And how far they go the year that the movie took place?
Okay, but
there's a loser. Like, what are you talking about, man?
I love that we're talking about Moneyball. We're arguing about Moneyball.
Losing is like the Bears organization. They should have lost more. They were able to achieve something of it. Whatever. But this was what I'm saying. Bad to the back. I think Channing Tatum is horrible in this movie. And I don't know if that may be a crazy take, but he's a brick wall for me. And that is his character. That is his character, but it makes not a compelling story to watch when your character
it seems like typecasting.
No,
yes.
Oh my God! I need
the two leads, Steve Carell and Channing Tatum, are walking brick walls, and you're supposed to care, but I fucking don't at all.
I would say you're supposed to care. It's the
I want them both to die in the helicopter and Ruffalo to be the main star. I couldn't stand either one.
I mean, the movie does, I think, a very well at showing the relationship that Mark has with his older brother Dave, and how he's always felt like he's been under his shadow. He's such, like you say, he is a brick wall in that he just is completely internalizes all of his emotions. He barely speaks unless he has to, unless he's like doing a speech or something.
And he can't speak.
He cannot express himself emotionally and talk to people. That he's so internalized. And that's why when he meets DuPont, who's just like, I'll give you all this money, you're the greatest wrestler, and just like blows smoke up his ass. Like he finally feels like he's found someone he can get out of his older brother's shadow. That's like what I think Tatum does so well.
With it.
What do you mean anything with it?
He is still unwatched. Like the thing
is, he loses.
Is he playing that character well? Here's the basis of where I'm at in this. Not every story should be made a movie. And this is where I'm at. This is on history. When your character, one of your main characters sucks emotionally and can't draw you in and watch it. I have to sit there for 2 hours waiting for something for him to do, and I don't give a shit. And I'm waiting I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, Steve Carell shot someone. He went to jail. He went to Oregon. I don't care. I don't care.
like, hold on. I got a quick question. Are you saying are your qualms that the performance of Channing Tatum sucks, or the character sucks, or both?
No, so I can't say no. So Channing Tatum is good at what he's given
Okay.
because that's the character. The
Well, he's doing a
character
lot, and
should
he's
not be a
something.
movie.
Well, my thing is like Channing Tatum should only do comedy. Like the dude cannot act in a very serious dramatic role. He's up like Cody said, he's a block of wood. He's standing there and he's just a block of wood and he's just floating
You
around.
didn't go.
But he looks the part.
You didn't
He's
shake
in
his
great
hand.
shape. He has a great look, but he has zero
Jeremy.
charm if he's not being funny.
Jeremy, you didn't get up and shake his hand like that's the bond. Like it's a mirror. Like you move the fuck along, smash your head into another mirror. I don't care. You have no emotion. Ram your shoulders into each other one more time and like hump each other on the ground. It is boring.
And he's complaining about like not being successful when like the third line out of his mouth is "I want a gold too." Like, yet you're already the best on the planet.
The scene when he's at the school, the scene when he's at the school, they all think that his brother's gonna be there. That's the whole point. He's the only one who showed up, and they don't even know his name. They think he's his brother.
His brother.
Joseph, say something. Please be on our side.
Jake took it out of my mouth. Him being successful is not the point. It's that he's not as seen in the big light as his brother. That he feels like he's
what's the big light? How big of a light was
Olympic
wrestling in the mid '80s? How big of a light is that? That's not. What are we talking about? Like that's why this is so. We were talking about college football and all of these insane people being around. It makes sense with all that money and all that stuff. This is people that nobody could name if nobody ever got shot. You could name John DuPont because you know the company, like he was super rich and I guess famous. I don't know. I never heard of the guy until I watched this movie, but nobody. There's no big light on mid '80s Olympic amateur wrestling, like because they're. What are we talking? What is this? Like the movie works because it's so weird and it's able to make some interesting characters out of a bunch of weird happenings. But the concept that wrestling was like that there's this big shadow. This dude's going, is he going on fucking Letterman? And shit, like they didn't like there's nothing to show like that there was a shadow. He's going home to his kids and training some other kids. Like there's no shadow.
And there'd be no spotlight because he doesn't have anything to keep the spotlight on him because he's fucking boring.
Okay, so I do want to say you guys brought some interesting things. So you guys made me think about because they mentioned that Mark won 1 gold medal at the Olympics, so that made me think. Okay, so Dave also probably had more than 1 medal, and apparently they both won medals at the same Olympics, 1984 in Los Angeles. They just won in different categories. So I guess it made me think it's fair that's a fair point that maybe the way that they portrayed in this particular story that his mentality that he's living in his brother's shadow maybe just be a little exaggerated slightly. I feel like that's partly because he's the younger of the brother, so he just feels like he needs to live up to that, but the brother has already the brother Dave feels like he's already established in the life that he wants with his family. So Mark wants to make something for himself.
It feels like Mark just can't move on as well.
That and like Mark is also kind of still looking for a dad. Like his original dad left, Dave left him, and now he's just by himself again, which is why he gets into this weird thing with John throughout this whole fucking movie.
Be a man.
Jeremy's
damn.
Be a man.
Like I hate like you just like he's got daddy issues, but they don't spend any time on that. Like he just has a conversation. He goes, he's gonna give me money, and I'm gonna live in his big house. Like there's no reason. Like yeah, so, like but I would what I will say like I want to get off like harping on the negatives. When Steve Carell's I couldn't look away.
Let's talk about Carell because I think he's great in this movie. I think he's fantastic. Steve Carell that plays the character of John E. DuPont. I find him to be I like when I don't think of the actor when I see the character. And if obviously he's playing a real life character, so the makeup helps. It definitely does. But if it wasn't, and he was doing nothing, I would just be watching Michael Scott in this weird drama, and that would be even more unsettling. That'd be way, way weirder to be watching it and just constantly knowing that's Steve Carell. The fact that for 95% of the movie, every time he showed up, I did not think of Steve Carell or Evan Almighty or anything like that. Yes, 100% agreed. Thank you, Bar. It just makes me go, this is the character. This is John DePont. And I think the way he just carries himself, all of his scenes where he's just like, oh, my mother's in the corner. Okay, everybody, let's just spread out. He's creating the scene for himself. And that's where I'm just like, that's John DePont. And I'm completely blown away by his performance. And I'm kind of happy he got the Oscar nod.
Also hilarious that he wanted to impress his mom in that moment, just gathered everybody to wrestling moves.
And then when he does the very vaguely sexual wrestling position, she's just like, "No, this is just fucked up. I'm going out."
Speaking of that aspect, of the parental issue aspect, I also saw that as an interesting aspect of the insecurities that John DePont has with himself and then the rest of his family. So he wants to also make a name for himself, but he's kind of awkward at it. So he gets, at least this is one way that you could look at it, he gets Mark into it because he's kind of easy to lure into this. And he also kind of wins him over about the whole patriotic feel about wrestling. So from a character study, I also thought it was very, very fascinating from in that perspective, even if it's a little slow, to mention.
The film is well made, and that's what sticks. But the overall story has no business being told. That's my.
You just don't find it to be an investing story.
No, none of the characters. Everybody's like, "Oh, he didn't get the credit because his brother." Yeah, his brother has a fucking personality. I don't know what to tell you. The rest, he doesn't.
His fault.
What the fuck do you mean? It's not his fault. He could learn how to speak to people.
That's not the same. I mean, he obviously has nerves, and it's just he's not a people person. So you
can't get the spotlight if you have nerves. That's what you leave at the table. You don't get both. I want to be an actor. I'm afraid of the camera. Guess what? You're not an actor. Don't know what to tell you. You can't have both. I really wanted to be a NASCAR driver. I can't drive. No NASCAR for me. It's real simple. Not every story. This is a problem in Hollywood. I don't know who greenlights this stuff, but not every story has to be a flippin' movie. I don't need to know why John DePont killed someone and he was paid wrestlers. Yes, and you're telling me Steve Carell. I think Steve Carell's fine. The funny thing is, he got an Oscar nomination. I'm sorry, Jake Gyllenhaal is 10 million times better in Nightcrawler than he is in this movie. He just looks like Michael Scott. I'm waiting for an office fit the entire time because he's got a giant nose, and I think Phyllis is going to walk through the door, and he's going to prank the team. It draws me out of it. I can't do it. Yes, he's giving a good performance. I can't see anybody but Michael Scott.
I would disagree with you on that one. I took a couple friends. I took a couple friends to this movie who I maybe told them, "Hey, Steve Carell's going to be in this." I didn't know what it was going into it.
Get better friends. That's crazy. If they said they couldn't see Steve Carell.
Well, here's the thing. They ended up getting this weird ass movie, and I learned that day I can't take everybody to any movie because then I may lose all my friends.
That's fair. Yeah. That's right. That again, I think overall score, the way it's shot, everything,
it's very well
shot. Yes, it is. Yes, and all of them are doing their part. They're doing what they're supposed to do. It just doesn't need to be 2 hours and 14 minutes. It does not need to be a movie. It just doesn't.
I mean,
and I don't know that Channing Tatum has ever showed me that he's a real legit actor outside of a comedy. I just don't see. I don't know a movie off the top of my head that I'm like, boom. Is that crazy?
I think that's
it is.
Name one. Give me one.
Fucking
dramatic
Haywire, this movie, Magic Mike. What
Magic Mike's not part of got comedy elements.
Yeah.
That's definitely his
It's got-
comedy.
He's being
more
natural.
drama.
He's
Like,
his
what are you
natural
talking
self in
about?
Magic Mike. I feel.
That's why I
He's a
like
naturally
him in
funny
Foxcatcher,
guy.
because he's not doing
Does it
that.
count? What are we doing?
I
here?
heard this movie. What was the other movie besides Magic Mike?
Haywire. Through Haywire.
Hey, why?
You know,
Dog?
actually-
Wasn't there about dog?
Actually, while we're on
He's
that,
good.
the other two movies that I almost picked but I didn't. From what I've heard, they're pretty dramatic, but I don't know how Channing Tatum does in those movies. Coach Carter and Side Effects. Anybody have thoughts on those?
He's barely
Side
in
Effects
Side
is really
Effects.
good. He's barely in Side Effects, I will say. He's only in like.
And Coach Carter, he just runs laps. He doesn't really do
Like
a whole lot.
he's solid in
Okay.
Side Effects too. Like honestly, like
he's more the ensemble.
he's good in every Soderbergh movie that he's in.
Yeah,
Like
I agree with
Soderbergh unlocked his career.
Yeah.
Fair.
And I think this is a great performance for him.
That was a great conversation. Great, Joseph. Hats off to you. What a great thing to bring on, because the discussion was there. Thank God, me and Jeremy were on the same side for something. Because
It was better than-
I mean,
that's
from the way
fucking
Jeremy brought up, I don't think that's going to change. Like we may be on the same page this next movie.
Okay, I want to get scores real quick. Joseph, it was your first time, but it's your movie. What do you got?
Yeah, so for a movie that I was ready to kind of hate on because of Jake Gyllenhaal's snub, I was surprised that I liked Steve Carell's performance more than I thought. Technically, it is fantastic. I do agree, though, that it is very long. This whole slow burn and heavy feel of it, I'm glad that I watched it once. I don't see myself going back to it again, but I would give it a 3.5 out of 5.
I'll go. I had this at a 4-star. It is now at a 3-star. Yeah, there's just no place for. I guess I was sold because I was like, oh wow, these characters, I've never seen them before. Then I watch them like, this movie kind of sucks. Great performances, but like the characters suck. Mark, go ahead. Your boy Channing Tatum.
Yeah, your rating was right the first time. Like this is a 4-star movie. Like it's great. Like it's a good movie. It's also held up over.
You just
over
like losers in films, apparently. That's what it seems like.
It's interesting. I can tell you.
Jake.
I had this at 3.5 on this rewatch. I'm bumping it to 4 stars. Removing all the Oscar talk, 11 years ago has allowed me just to watch the movie as its own, and I appreciate it because I think it's a captivating story. I'm sorry, Cody.
Oh, you like shit all the time. It's fine. Jeremy.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, everything is technically done well. Everybody who worked on this movie did their job to the max, but I hate it. But I'll stick with 3 stars.
Dude, as it was going on, as it was about to it was like 30 minutes left. I was about to grab my phone and just tell me what happened to John DeBond than let this film tell me what happened to John, because I could not give a fuck less. I was trying to find just a quick.
I think it's basically the same story.
Probably, I just never done. Yeah, dang man, I should just done it.
I mean, it's not bad either. I'd recommend watching 30 for 30. I just don't think it adds anything new to the story.
That's probably what it should have stayed as a 30 for 30 and not done a movie. All right, let's rip the fucking band-aid off this bitch. Okay, we'll start with the goods.
The editing.
It has
The
credits.
editing. The editing is very stylish.
Very fascinating.
The editing.
Yeah, you watched that editing and you thought Cody's gonna like this editing.
When
People
sometimes
say-
shots would just
people
have
say
no
the
sound, I'm like,
Departed's editing-
Cody's gonna love
People
this.
say the editing of The Departed is chaotic as fuck. Let me tell you,
I
they
like
need to
the
know what
editing of
the-
The Departed.
we need the
There you go.
benchmark of what is chaotic and what is not. Because let me tell you, this thing has an argument. This thing hurt my eyes on more than one occasion. But let's talk about the
Me too.
goods. It's a movie and it has credits. Yeah, go ahead.
I
So
will say, go ahead, Jeremy. Actually, yeah,
No, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
it's your movie. I insist.
So I feel like with this one, maybe we should flip it. We should do the bad parts first, and then talk about the positives, because it's going to take us a while
Yes.
to wade through the depravity.
Yes.
Okay, so this is, like I said, this is blind pick by me. Figured it would be kind of rough violence-wise, and it was. And I liked a lot of the actual gore and effects because they made me laugh a couple times. Like it was cartoonish to a point. A lot of this movie, especially after you get past the rape scenes, because that's
That
a thing that
happens
happens a
within
lot
the
in this movie.
first minute of this movie.
Yeah, man. I know it was tough. After that, like the first half is really hard to watch. I will say, the first half
Like,
is very tough. The second half
first
gets
5
super weird.
hard to watch.
It's not as violent and it's not as gross as far as like making you feel gross and uncomfortable, I feel like. And it turned kind of into just an interesting, weird little science fiction movie with a bunch of
Science
perverts.
fiction.
Or you're like horror. I mean, like, because there's a guy who does hypnosis. Maybe everybody's hypnotized. Maybe nothing
Wish I
actually
was.
happened that we see happen. Like, so like there's some odd things that go on. But I like the violence. I like the music. I like the manic energy of it. I really love the scene where it's just the shot of the doorway from the security camera, and Ichi walks in, and then everything's just start flying out of the door in blood constantly, and then you see the face stick to the wall and slide down. I really like that part. That was a lot of fun.
Are we talking about
Yeah,
goods or are we talking about
I was-
bads? I feel like I'm in a weird world right now because
that's
you're
why I
saying
don't know
things
how
that
we
you
do this.
liked. Yeah, because it seemed like you liked it. I will say you're not wrong. Like it did finally like let off the gas at some point. But the problem is, I already went 100 miles an hour into a wall, so recovering was past the point. Like I just didn't care at this
That's
point.
fair. Yeah.
I listen. I mean this for everybody out there, and I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum. But when you like this amount of gore, go see somebody. You know, because I'm really concerned because I'm disgusted by this.
I
Like
don't
I don't know.
usually like I don't like the Terrifier stuff. Like I don't love
Oh,
gore, but sometimes you can present it in a
a
way
person that did
that
Terrifier
makes me laugh.
loves this
Like
movie.
because the blood spray in this is like the blood spray at the end of the Addams Family when they're doing the play. Like, and it's just red water, and it's so over the top that it's not realistic at all, and you can just it doesn't
Yeah,
feel like it's possible. Like it's so goofy. It's so goofy at
I
points.
just think there's some brutal scenes that like hard to watch. Like rape scenes aren't
Yeah.
great by any stretch. Um, brutal just hooks in the back of and it just hanging there and just like talking and I am just like I, I when I have to look away so much and just like this, I just don't care about the overall movie. Like I think like it's impressive the abilities that they're able to achieve. But I don't know how high of a budget, probably not that much. But like they're able to achieve stuff. But it's so hard to watch. Like there's parts like there are stuff that will just pop in my dreams right now, probably about it that I just didn't even process in the moment. I'm like Jesus. So I couldn't get behind it. I just think it's long too. It is long, and it's just like you're in it for so long, and you just want it to stop. And like I like long movies, but geez, I have a limit. Whatever you want bad, you can start bad, good. It doesn't matter with this one.
I will say that what I think makes this different to a lot. I like, I'll watch a violent, gory movie and I'll find it over the top and hilarious.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those type of movies. I think what makes Ichi so different from those is that it's about like masochism. It's like the love of pain, the pleasure of pain. And so there are many sequences that are way more unnerving and unsettling than if it had way more violence and gore in it, because there's another side, an aspect to it, whether it is Ichi himself constantly being aroused by whether it's a woman being raped or just this excessive violence that happens that's mostly caused by him unintendedly, or you have the main guy, what's his name, Kakihara, who is just looking for someone to give him the ultimate pleasure and pain. And I think the scene that made me really way more unsettled than a lot of the other things I've watched in my 27 years on this planet is him cutting the top of his tongue off, and just constantly spewing blood from his mouth. That was just a very powerful scene to me, as far as the violence of the movies go. The violence of the movie goes, but I would say, yeah, it's my biggest complaint is that I didn't know what was going on for half the movie. I'll take part of that on me, I must say.
You shouldn't. I was sitting there most of the time going, "What the hell is happening right now? Like, what is going on? Who are all these characters? Why should I care? Like, the gore stuff doesn't really bother me. Like, something kind of, I guess something broke in me, half my life ago. But I don't care about any of that. But like, there's nothing in this movie to latch onto. There's nothing interesting that's going on to latch onto. Like, I guess, like, Jake brought up this interesting thing with the pain. Like, okay, that's something, I guess. But like, it was the last thing I watched, and I was nodding off through like half of it. Like, and I was like, and it's international movie, so like I'm missing dialogue, but like I can't. But like I could not care less about what was happening in the movie.
I want that hook scene and the oil and in the cheek. I'm gonna be honest. I almost just turned it off, and I said I'm gonna fake it the whole time. Like, I'm just gonna tell you, like, oh, this is horrible, and just not, because that was so rough to watch. Like, when it draws the line of close to seem real, like, that's when I have some, like, that's when it's too much. Like, the over the top gore, the spraying of the blood and stuff, that's never bothered me before. Like,
Right.
In Final Destination, like, when the lawnmower martyr, like, chops off the father's head, like, I'm not, oh god, like, I'm just like, okay, that's just the most dumb, ridiculous thing possible. But like, this was like, it felt real by the body acting, by how he was reacting, how he's the screams, how the blood curl. It was just like, I'm just watching someone get tortured right now. It feels like, and there's no explanation for my eyes. Like, I'm with Mark. I'm like, I don't know why I'm supposed to like care or like need to like worry about these people. Like, they didn't help me understand why. Like, I was supposed to. So it's rough. Like,
it's also weird when
all terrible people. Like, everybody, this isn't like if you watch like a mobster movie where they all have some kind of code, kind of like they'll talk, I mean, they're just kind of dealing with each other and other made men. No, these people will team up and rip your face off, literally. Like they get excited about hurting themselves and each other and everybody around them, and they're just all the absolute worst people that you could find to tell a story about. I can't believe this is based on a comic book, like a manga. Like, somebody else came up with the shit. Takashi Miike didn't come up with this. He just decided he liked it enough to make an insane movie. Somebody else cooked this up and wrote it down and drew it.
And then shot the movie. The DP of this movie is the guy who wrote the manga.
Oh, great!
I find that so weird.
That's cool. That's cool. Like, he's with it. Like,
that doesn't surprise me at all, because I feel like if you write a comic book, you're kind of thinking in the back of your head, this is never ever gonna make it on screen. Like,
like the scene where he's the second, I think, rape scene that literally happened, and he's watching, and then he cuts the guy straight in half, and then gets aroused by it, and then kills the girl that just went through. I'm just like, I'm so confused and uncomfortable. It was crazy.
This Jeremy, also maybe go ahead. You haven't said anything.
Yeah. It's okay. I'm trying to process everything that I had to think about, because Jeremy talked about how he had been avoiding Foxcatcher for this group and watched it last. In the years that I've learned about different foreign movies, I had been avoiding this movie for years. So from this group, I was like, I'm just gonna get this out of the way and be done with it, so that hopefully mentally preparing myself. I can like I watched this like maybe within a week or two of Jeremy dropping the movie because I just wanted to like have the time to like not think about it too much up until this one. And I will say, I do agree with their parts being uh, confusing, places where I got lost. So thank goodness for IMDb having very detailed plot synopses that could help me go, okay, I think I got that. Okay, yeah, now this scene makes sense. Okay, this was a flashback. Got it there. So yeah, there are things in here that I wish I had not seen. There are things that I am very shocked somebody came up with to film and really would not wish on other people to watch at all either. And somebody on Letterboxd commented, made a review about this movie's opening scene and title credits, rivaling the discomfort of Uncut Gems' title credits and opening sequence. And I think that is one way in which Takashi Miike goes, this is the kind of crazy movie that I want to make. And if this opening scene is not for you, you probably shouldn't be watching this movie. So that's a reason why I have not been too eager to see this movie either, because of the.
And it wouldn't surprise me if with the themes of masochism that are through every single character of this entire movie, if his thing was, I hope nobody likes it. Like he's like, I'm going to be something out there to put it out just so everybody talks shit and insults me and talks down. Like he put it out there to like so he would be punished for making this movie. It's totally possible. I didn't read any interviews. I don't know, but it would make sense for somebody to make something like this and then tie it into their own expectations for how it'll be received.
Like, I don't know. That sounds like Tommy Wiseau shit. Like, oh yeah, I meant for this to be a comedy.
I could totally see this being like, oh, you want to watch a gory, violent horror movie? Here, watch Ichi the Killer. Oh, you don't like the violence? Good.
Right.
I will say
that's the point.
I will say something that, in terms of that, with how terrible the violence is and the will to see something like that, it makes me think about Michael Haneke and Funny Games, because at least for me, with both versions of Funny Games, Michael Haneke also definitely tries to give that message about how the movie violence is bad, and what he does is keep most of the violence off screen.
Yes.
So I feel like that's the big difference here, because if you want to complain that, if you want to give the commentary that movie violence as over the top as this is bad, I feel like you're missing a little bit of ground for that if it looks like you're reveling in it in
right. It looks
scenes.
Fun, campy, sort of unrealistic. The violence, even though it's like absolutely messed up. Yeah, I mean that's why Haneke's so good. That's why I love him. But Ichi. But can we just talk about just Ichi as a character?
Yes, that's the next thing that I wanted to say. One thing, amidst the things that I did not care for or like about this movie, one thing that I thought was cleverly subversive was that the freaking guy with this weird facial scar look was not Ichi the Killer. That was
right.
The poster is like, this guy's obviously the killer.
Yeah, and then we see the movie. There's a part of me that feels almost kind of the disappointment that Kakihara has, that you think that Ichi the Killer is going to be this ruthless guy. And no, it's just a really sick in the head, such mentally confused guy who has these homicidal tendencies that is something that he can't help. So I appreciate the subversive trope that this is not the killer that we expect. This is not the killer that Kakihara and his men expect. So that was an interesting trope, that not all of the killers are necessarily as sadistic as Ichi, because Ichi is not sadistic, or at least not intentionally so.
Right, he's also being manipulated by is it Ichi. I can't remember the character's name, but he's also being manipulated because like, oh, these guys are bullies and they bullied you when you were a kid. Go kill them.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, Gigi. Yeah, right.
Gigi
doesn't matter.
GG.
Or is it Scratchy?
Yeah.
You guys want to give
Was I
scores,
cutting
or
out,
you
by
want
the
to
way?
say? No.
What was that? Sorry.
Okay, cool.
But
Yeah,
I will
was
say,
wondering
like,
if I was cutting out.
Oh no.
I will say, going towards the end of the movie, like,
Worst question.
because it shifts, it becomes a little different. It felt like a weird, fucked up, like flipped around version of Batman and Joker. Like the main character, who's just the sadist, Ichikar. How do you hard? I can't say his name.
Kakihara.
Anyway,
Kakihara.
he's looking for the guy to kill it, like to be the ultimate test, like to be make him be afraid, to make him feel things. And the guy he's talking about is this vigilante that goes around and deals with criminals and who's a broken, like, orphan. Like, it really did, like, at the end, it felt like a very odd parody of Batman and Joker. And then it just ends. Like, maybe some people were hypnotized, maybe they weren't. I don't know. It just kind of ends in three ways, and then they
not
leave.
understand the ending. Gotta be honest.
Yeah, no.
I needed to read the Wikipedia synopsis to know what was really going on. Apparently, it was part of it is made up, is a hallucination on Kakihara, but I was just like, okay, so it just ends like that.
Yeah,
we just get Ichi looking back at the camera, like, okay.
After the guy like falls down and you see that his head it doesn't have like that injury that Kakihara had, I was like, okay, so this is a hallucination. So that previous fight on the roof was a hallucination before that.
They just walked off the roof. That's fucking dumb.
And then he kills himself. I think that was the implication with Kakihara. Yeah, I did like his. I mean, Joseph, you alluded to. I did like the detail of his scars on his mouth, and then you have the scene where he wants the guy to keep punching him, and then he just in the mouth, and I'm just like, is this about to turn into like a supernatural thing? Because I'm like, is he just like some supernatural deity? But no, and then at the ending of the movie where he like his jaw just sort of drops at the end. I'm just like, okay, I think I get what you're trying to say.
Body modification, yeah.
He's just a guy who just loves pain. It's crazy. That was the one aspect I really did enjoy. Don't know about the execution of some of it.
His mouth must be really dry.
All right, let's get scores. Jeremy, go ahead and jump.
I don't even know what score to give this.
That's the thing.
So I feel like this could just do anything. I feel like I just kind of want to put the heart on it, the letterbox heart, because I'm never going to watch it again. So I may as well just give it 5 stars and drop the mic and walk away. Because I at the end of it, besides the rape scenes, I liked everything, even the insanity of it. As best as I could understand it, I enjoyed as much of it as I could. But I'm never going to watch this again. I'm never going to watch Audition again. Like, these are one and done movies, and that's just how it is. So whatever. Yeah, I'm going to give it the heart. It's not even going to get stars. It's just going to get a heart, and I'm never going to revisit it ever again.
You kind of stole mine, because I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to rate this, because like I've given movies that I just don't like. Like I've given Altered State, like,
yeah, obviously that's the big one.
Is it a half-star movie? No. Is it just not a movie that I despise? Yes. And like I gave Audition, but like I'm afraid to go back and watch that, because I'm thinking like I just gave it 3 because I'm like, I understand people like it, but like overall, I'm never gonna watch that movie probably again either. So I'm gonna put a 2-star on it. And I think that's being generous, but I don't believe it deserves anything lower. You got to say that for the real pieces of shit. And I think there's a market for this movie.
You didn't hate this movie, right?
No, I didn't hate it. It's hard to watch.
You didn't enjoy the experience of watching.
Correct. So I'm going to give it 2 stars. Call it a day. Move on. Mark.
I understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I just think at the end of the day, I can't really think of many things that I liked about this.
Sure.
And I'll give it 1.5 stars. I was not a fan of this movie at all.
I think I hate it because the main character, like the guy, falls to his death, and like his brains don't just go splattering all over the floor. What were they
It'd
out
be
of?
an ultimate pancake. Yeah.
Were they out of the extreme kills? Like, what are we like? We don't get it.
Yeah, we had $5. Like, let's just get a can of tomato soup and let's call it a day.
Yeah. Joseph.
Yeah, there are things similar to Foxcatcher, except on the opposite side of the spectrum. There are technical aspects that I appreciate from this movie, although ultimately I do rate most movies according to how much I get out of them and how much I like or appreciate them. And there's too much that I don't like or appreciate that I feel like if I rate it any higher than 2.5 out of 5, I would be lying to myself.
Okay. Jake.
I'll be right back. 1 second.
Yeah.
I can't give this any more than 4 stars, but I don't think I disliked it enough to give it anything less than 2.5. So I don't know if I give this 3 or 3.5. I mean, I'm glad I finally saw it because I've heard about this movie for years, and it's like this is one of the most effed up movies ever. You got to watch it. I think I got to give it 3 stars. I got so lost with the narrative that it didn't really help me enjoy the film as much as I would have liked to have. And I think some of the narrative choices, like the ending, didn't really stick. I didn't found it to stick the landing, even though I appreciate it for being absolutely out of this world, unique compared to everything else I've seen. Commend it for being interesting, not enough to find it to be good.
Okay. Should be a quick, easy conversation on this next one. Again, I don't know how much conversation there has.
Palate cleanser.
Let's cleanse it.
Right.
It was a run by fruiting. Did you not tip the wait staff? This is arguably my most quotable movie. It is a special spot. This is the movie that makes me miss Robin Williams so much. I just love all the scenes that he is featured in, both himself and Doubtfire. Kills me most of the time. Just like absolutely kills me when he's like going through a divorce that's really hard because like she was out of the marriage for a while, like obviously, but like he just threw a birthday party. It was just fucking the craziest, and this old angry ass bitch across the street just didn't like the donkeys eating her petunias, so she calls thing and ruins the marriage. But the one-liners in this movie are just, I think, some of the funniest written stuff like out there. That's my brand of comedy. Take it away. Things you liked, I guess, from Mrs. Doubtfire.
What's not to like? Like, I don't know that there's anything in this movie that can you hate on this movie? It's the Robin, like it's when you think of Robin Williams. I think for most people, if you enjoy living, like I guess you might think of Good Will Hunting if you want to be sad first and happy later. But like other than that, like this is the Robin Williams. Like this is the one where he gets to strut the whole time, and not over the top. Like anything that's over the top is supposed to be, and it works. He's not like drowning out everybody else in the film, but it's his movie. Like everything flows through him and the kids. And it's such a great relationship between it, I mean, even though, like, if this was a real world thing, he commits like 24 felony counts of fraud, I would assume. Like, it's an absurdly, like, not realistic, real film, but that's great.
It works as a story.
Yeah, he's a human cartoon living in the real world. Like, that's kind of how this works, and that's why it works. And there's nobody else that's better at being a human cartoon than Robin Williams. So you start putting him in costumes, and my favorite sequence is when he goes to his brothers and they're trying all the looks. Like, I love me a montage.
Matchmaker,
a montage with jokes. worth every single
No, it
every
looks like
single
Booby.
character
It looks
gets
like
their own
Booby.
little bit to shine of one joke each, and they run through. It's a perfect sequence.
Don't rain on my parade.
Harvey Firestein is a great pick to be
We're gonna need
his
some
brother.
spat.
Like it's great. So yeah, I mean, I can keep going and go. If we're talking just good things, we'll never leave. So
It's
I'll
weird.
quit where I'm at.
It's weird to me to see Harvey Firestein any time now, because I know him first as Yao from Mulan. So just seeing him in these movies now just takes me a little bit getting used to. But yeah, I enjoyed seeing him in this movie. I have an odd relationship with this movie. So I had seen it, or at least I felt like I had seen it, with the amount of times I see it pop up on TV. And then when I finally sit down to watch it, there's like a big chunk in the beginning that I don't remember ever watching it. So like I do remember seeing the things happen from where like he starts to the trying to get into the calls for getting into the
He's
positions.
giving obviously bad audition voicemails.
Yes,
for,
that's still one of my favorite parts about
Say
the
away!
movie.
Get back in your pen.
But so my introduction to this movie was the first time I saw part of it pop up on TV. I was at a friend's house. I was like going in and out. The parts that I saw were just Mrs. Doubtfire being Mrs. Doubtfire. I had no idea that was Robin Williams. So it wasn't until later.
That's wild.
When we get to the restaurant scene. We get to the restaurant scene, and then I see Robin Williams in the suit, and like he's in the bathroom, like changing from like Robin Williams and from Daniel to Mrs. Doubtfire, and my mind was blown.
Joseph felt like one of the kids.
I think it's arguably one of the best acting scenes like ever of him flopping back and forth between those characters.
Exactly.
It gets so funny when, as it goes on, he gets drunker and he just keeps knocking into shit. I'm just like, that is really funny, and he does that so well.
I was gonna say like this is one of the best Robin Williams performances, and one of the first performances that made me go like, wow, Robin Williams is more than just the guy from Flubber that I remember seeing on all those commercials on the DVD, on the Disney VHSs that I used to watch over and over.
Yeah.
They take the hairiest man and put him in complete drag, and he's able to like stand it like up against it, which is so funny to me. Go ahead, Jake. I thought you were about to speak.
I hadn't seen this movie in years. This is definitely a movie I remember watching as a kid and loving it. It's a great premise, and I don't think it's a perfect movie, but I could hear someone make that argument, and I don't think I could make much of a debate against it, because it does everything it needs to do right. Like, it's a charming, sincere, hilarious family film that you can watch, and I do enjoy that it's not like nuded down. Like, I love that, you know, when it's him giving the bird to Pierce Brosnan from the window, or him calling him a bastard. Like, it's got a little bit of like that Robin Williams humor that is not just specifically from just doing all the family films that I enjoy. Like, my introduction to Robin Williams from the movie Jumanji. Like, that's my introduction to him, and I think that's a great performance. I don't think it's the same as Doubtfire. Obviously, he's doing a lot more in this, but there is just something about the movie having this emotional premise, and it's nailing not just that aspect of it, but the comedy. And I think Columbus is not someone I would have thought who could do that, because before this he was making genre high concept. Even though this is high concept, there's less of an emotional stake, you could argue, to the previous films he'd done to this point. This is something that I watched as a kid, and I'm like, I understand every character's sort of not motivation, but where they're coming from. Sally Field, I really got more from on this viewing than previously, where obviously this is not just...
She's great.
It's not like this event, the whole, you know, he hosts the party and it's like, oh, that's it. No, like, this had been a steady decline, and he didn't even realize it until it was too late. And it's him thinking, I can win her back if I start taking care of my life and getting a job. And when it's Doubtfire and her having the conversation at the dinner table or something like that, and it's it's her explaining like, I never got to have the fun that he would have with the kids, and I started to resent myself because of it, and I would have to clean up, and they would just have these like conversations where this is Daniel finally listening to her, and he can't even speak to her as himself. He has to just be someone listening to it, and that's like the thing that really I enjoy.
Honestly, it's a deeper story than you truly it's slapstick, but like there's a heart to this movie that's set in such a reality. Like it's doesn't get credit for.
And the best thing about it is that it doesn't take away from the humor. Correct. It's not like one overlaps for too much, and it's just you're lost something out of it. It maintains that sort of balance between the drama and humor where I'm feeling it at both times and I'm not missing one or the other for too long.
Go ahead, Mark. Unless you don't have anything good to say.
That'd be weird. No, I did because honestly, just kind of going off of what Jake said, just kind of at least going off of at least the performance. I find it funny. I think the last time Joseph was here, Spencer brought on Good Morning Vietnam. I think a large chunk of that. Oh, you did? Oh, I thought it was Spence. Whatever.
Spence doesn't like Robin Williams.
Wait, Spence brought on.
Reason.
What did Spence? Whatever. Different conversation. But I thought it was interesting that a large portion of that conversation was basically like, oh, this is kind of how we see Robin Williams, and like this is kind of like the performance of Robin Williams. And honestly, we get to this movie, and this is kind of more or less the movie where I feel like this is the performance that Robin Williams really should be remembered for. And it's not just because like it's a good performance. It's just because so much of the movie just falls on Robin Williams. And at the end of the day, he's responsible for like 90% of the 90 to 95% of the laughs, and like probably like 70 to like 75% of like the emotional heft. And it's nuts that they laid all that out on Robin Williams, and he's able to carry it. He's able to carry it and like make a pretty great film out of it. It's a thing that I still kind of watch to this day and think that it like Robin Williams does not get like the acting credit that he should get in this. Like of all of the things like he should be remembered for, like Mrs. Doubtfire should be like that top tier performance. Like we will talk about like 1 Hour Photo and like Good Will Hunting and like sure like, those are really Insomnia sure. Those are really good performances, but like the movie doesn't like hinge completely on those movies as Mrs. Doubtfire does. And I think Mrs. Doubtfire is still seen as kind of one of those all-time classic family films.
It was like the second or third highest grossing movie of its year. That doesn't happen.
Yeah. It was a like between this and Aladdin, like that's why I know who Robin Williams is. So like the scene where he's like, I do voices, like, yep, that's what he does.
Oh,
like so when I first when I saw What Dreams May Come, I was like, why is he not funny? Why is he sad? It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like I was like 11. I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah,
like when's he gonna start doing impressions? Like
dude,
so
that
like,
scene.
I am very much the comedy Robin Williams, do a character, be goofy, carry your movie like he does every time. I appreciate when he's dramatic because he's also very good. But this is what I want. Like if somebody says you want to watch a Robin Williams movie, I assume you mean Mrs. Doubtfire or Popeye or Aladdin or something like that. I don't think you mean Insomnia.
Night at the Museum.
You know what I mean? That's just where my brain goes.
That scene, the I Do Voices scene, I must have memorized when I was little for the longest time. And then I quote it all the time as like, you consider yourself funny? There was a time. But you have ruined all that. Thank you so much. And the funniest line in the movie is not delivered by anything. I die laughing to this day at that damn bus driver that turns around to him and goes, I like it. Healthy. natural because he sees her leg hairs. It kills me every time when he delivers that line to her, and he's just like, "What the fuck am I in?" But when he's going through that scene, shoving the cake in his face to get the mask, and be like, "Hello!" The
Speaking of most credible film, hello.
Yeah,
and
when he's back and forth having, "Oh, she's just in for tea," like he just goes so quick, and this movie matches his pace. Like, oh, what's your Indian name? Shops with a fist? Like, I'm going for a nice war motif. You like what I'm going? Like, it's just line after line. Like, they're his goddamn kids too. Very nice, Dad. Yeah, like there's some real heart throughout this entire movie. Like, and this, like him learning how to cook and the fire on the boobs. Like, he's just so.
There's a woman. I'm already getting hot flashes.
Yeah, it's just one of those movies that is so like removed from like Bad Day, perfect thing to put on. But yeah, even when he starts with that bird like smoking, he's like, I get cancer. Oh no, it's not on the script. You having him smoking in a kid's cartoon. Like, what do you want from me? Like,
Right.
He's so stubborn. It just he refuses to like change. But yeah, I do think the heart is when people's like, oh, it's just a silly family film. That's true. But like when you think of it as like a human relationship movie, like there are some moments from Sally Field that deliver is like truly heartbreaking. But then he's there, the quick line to cut it out.
I like the small little moment between Lydia and Doubtfire after the first day. That's one thing I completely forgot about, where he plays it really well. Of just like I have won my kids over through being a responsible adult, and that's sort of the first time he sort of recognizes that. And I think it's also just a nice moment between father and daughter. And I was just like,
I do love the Doubtfire scenes with Pierce Brosnan's character. Like,
it is the funniest stuff.
She has a power tool in her drawer.
I'm sorry.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I gotta say, sink the sub, hide the weasel, park the porpoise, bit of the old Humpty Dumpty, little Jack Horny, the horizontal bamboo, the bone dancer, rumple foreskin, baloney bop, a bit of the old cunning linguistics.
It's just by far just like, it's just how he fucks with him is so funny. Like,
look at that chest. It's liposuction.
Puts extra pepper in the thing, hits him with a fruit like in the head.
Almost murders him. Like, this movie hits absurd levels. Like everything that happens to him after the divorce is totally absurd. Like a judge would not require supervised visits because your dad's kind of a dipshit voice actor. Like there's like no, you know what I mean? Like that shit's not gonna happen. He's not gonna have to like report to some old lady from a government office because so that stuff.
You abuse your kids? No.
But then that absurdity allows him to hit absurd levels. Like,
yes.
And then when you need it to be grounded, you bring in Sally Field back in. You bring the kids back in. And every single one of those scenes brings you back to real life. And then they go and do something absurd again. And then they keep bringing you back and then letting you go and then bringing you back. It really works. That movie perfectly manipulates its audience.
Yes.
Like it really does.
The whole court order, that sort of aspect of the movie, I think that works because it works well for the story. Like they make it clear that he's lost his job. He doesn't have nearly as many responsibilities as he should.
He's a chump.
I get it from the story that they would that would happen. And it makes it also funny. I will say just one thing about what, because I think we're sort of getting to the end. The one thing I want to bring up is just the whole climactic switching between the two dates, the two dinners. Like that is like, I feel like that's something that happens generally in most, not body swap, but person pretends to be another person. Like it happens in the Hannah Montana movie. I feel like that's like a trope.
Perfect example, like in a Montana movie.
Saw that in theaters. But I really love the fact that they make it clear, like obviously it's absolute bullshit that this would not happen. These two things happening at the same time. The movie does a fairly good enough job to make it happen, and then to
drinking
make it
double
fun.
scotches.
I love when it's him and the boss, and they're just
like-
they're just drinking and doing. As a kid, I was like,
He's
"That's
got
what
the
adult.
earrings and the
That's what
makeup.
adult
So
dinners
good.
are like. It's just two people drinking and just laughing at random
And
shit."
then she shows up as Doubtfire sitting there. Just
His
Daniel.
reaction when he realizes, "Oh wait, I've just this is Doubtfire in this moment." It is really good.
And then he pitches it well. He does like the whole like he's able to sell her, but like it's
I love
just
that. Yeah.
it's crazy. All right, let's get scores. Unless anybody has a bad, I didn't hear one. I understand. Like there's probably some goof that you can cut out, but like overall.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead. You want to enter the Thunderdome? You got something?
No,
Okay.
I'm good.
I will
I
say
took a shot at Channing Tatum, so I assumed it was coming.
I will say on rewatch, the one thing that made me think twice about in terms of the context of the story was I felt, and I realized that it's because it's just a comedy, but I felt on rewatch that the resolution felt a little quick, like how they it goes from the judge telling Daniel that he's gonna lose custody of his kids. He needs to have supervised visits, and then it just feels like a few minutes and just a watch of the TV show with. Actually, that's not true. It's the TV show, and then the conversation that Lydia has with Daniel, Sally Field has with Daniel, and then that like changes her mind or something like that. I don't know. It felt like something that is a little glossed over just because they needed to wrap it up sooner. But other than that, very, very fun movie.
The one thing that I was reminded and how it doesn't exactly have that sort of closure is Pierce Brosnan.
That too, yes.
He first of all did nothing wrong. Obviously, he is a threat to Daniel because he is this paternal figure to his
Just
kids.
scumbag.
Yes, you could make the argument for that, but then after almost dying and choking, he's out of the movie. There's no clear sense of there was some hidden agenda to him, which I'm glad they didn't, because that just would have been obvious.
Right.
But they just there's no, we don't go back to that relationship.
Yeah.
With him. And
because he left. He's like, I don't need any of this shit. I'm
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
He went into a coma from his allergic reaction to pepper, and then like I get that, like, but if they had done that, it would have turned him into an actual villain. This movie doesn't need a villain. Like the system sucks. Like life's not fair sometimes. You just want everybody to be happy, and not having happiness is enough of a villain for this movie. Like to me anyway.
In all honesty, like Pierce Brosnan's character probably thinks like, Daniel's coming to kill him at some point. Like you're telling me, like he became the maid to get closer to his kids, like, and he's been fucking with me this whole time.
When
he
you
wants
put
to
it in
murder
that
me.
Well, and
context, a little crazy.
Well, and what's he gonna think about Sally Field now? He goes, "That's your ex-husband." Like the guy dressing in drag in secret, and you didn't recognize
This
him.
was
And he's
before
taking care of
red
your
flags
kids,
were known.
and then almost poisoned me at a restaurant. Like, so if you start breaking it down, you're going to get into like just how absurd everything is in this movie. So you don't need to do that.
Yeah, Cody wants to move on.
Yeah, let's get scores. You're all said too much negative shit at this point. So what the fuck? Like, I was hoping we'd just pass it. We need a conclusion of Pierce Brosnan. Fuck off. He entered the room. He shouldn't have been there.
I love that he did that before Bond. That's one of my
Looking
favorite.
greasy.
It's my movie. I've always given it 4.5 for just being like pretentious fuckface. It's a 5-star movie. I find no flaws. I have so much fun with this movie. It is literally can change my mood. And if you've known me long enough in this community, I'm an asshole. So thing to bring happiness, surprise. So it's Doubtfire. So, Joseph.
I am Job.
Yes.
am Job.
Does your kids act behave, or they need a nice thumping every now and then?
4 out of 5.
I don't work with males because I used to be one. Jeremy.
5 stars. Obviously, like this is a perfect movie. Like even though we've talked about like how absurd it's perfect because it does everything perfectly. I'm happy I got to grow up with this movie. I don't remember a time where this movie didn't exist for me, and we had it available all the time. So
the thing
5
that people
stars
can literally
forever and ever
look.
and ever. Like, I don't do rankings. This would be in my top 20 movies probably of all time. Like, I love it. So
The
thanks,
people
guys.
that like, oh, I found a hidden gem, Mrs. Doubtfire would be like, would shoot me in the heart. Mark.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think just unlike it's this is not a movie I go back to every now like a lot.
You're a
When I
miserable
do
person.
when I do really like it. Like I can't think of anything wrong with it. So yeah, it's 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's great.
Jake.
Am I gonna give it the lowest ranked rating? Even though I really do like this movie a lot.
Oh, let's see your Kangaroo Jack.
Fuck you. Shit. You know what? For you, Cody, I'm gonna give it 4.5 stars. I was gonna give it 4 stars, but I really do like this movie a lot, and I do find it absolutely funny. And I had a great time watching it 3-4 days ago. So 4.5 stars. I think it's great. It's one of Robin Williams' best. A fantastic film.
Okay. Second to last movie. Great discussion tonight.
Another fun film.
Another fun film, Logan Lucky. You know, where Channing Tatum is actually a good actor in it. Mark, you brought this, right? Has everybody seen this? I'm just curious. I think
This is my
everybody
first
had. I
time
don't
watching
know. It's just so much fucking fun. Like, it's just fun. Like, all the characters are obscene, like over the top crazy. Like that bar scene is just when it gets going, when they catch the guy's house on car on fire. He's out there. He's like that when he's just defending his brother, and he just starts beating. They're beating his brother, and Adam Driver's character just goes outside and sets fire to the things instantly for a backup for his brother. It's just. And then we get Daniel Craig within 20 minutes of the movie, and it just goes from there. It's goofy. It's great. Get out of here. Not allowed to be
Jeremy.
back. Yeah, fucking Logan Lucky. Peace. I'm out. What are you guys some of your favorite parts from Logan Lucky?
It's been a while because it's been a while since I saw Ocean's 11, the Soderbergh one, but this might be my favorite Soderbergh movie, especially with heist movies. So, yeah. First of all, that bar scene is hilarious to me because it's Seth MacFarlane doing that goofy accent, and then for me, amidst all the goofiness and over the top accents, the scene, the very first scene where Jimmy's with his daughter, that just makes me lock into the movie. It's such a heartfelt and heartwarming scene of their relationship that I just buy into everything else that happens afterwards. It sells the tone for me without but on the right note. So it shows you the heart of it, and then we go into all the crazy stuff that happens later on. I'm gonna get a compilation of my favorite quotes because I wanted to do that, but I didn't. So
a lot of good lines in the movie. I am one of the biggest Soderbergh fans in the community. I love the man, Stephen. I was very fortunate enough to see this at an advanced screening. Well, by advance, it was like a day or two before it goes wide. And I absolutely adored it. I love Soderbergh. This is also big for me because this was his return, because he had retired for 4 years after Behind the Candelabra. So I was like, he's making another heist film. He's working on his own. He's doing his regular shtick again. I'm happy to see him back, and I think it's just so much fun. I love that the first act is so fascinating because obviously in a heist film there's all the planning that goes along, and there's very little of it. You clearly know what the setup and stakes are, and he's got the list of things to do and what to keep focus on. But you don't know that twist that's coming into the third act, which I think, I don't know about everyone else, but that I found very effective. And on each viewing, rewatch, I've it somehow still works for me. I do 100% agree with you, Joseph, on the opening. I love that relationship so much. That girl is so adorable and cute, and every time he gets her to do the guns, it just warms my heart. I just found that so sweet. And obviously, when she sings "Country Roads" at the end, it's just it's fun. And we all talk about Craig taking on more comedic, eccentric characters. Like, obviously, Knives Out is the big franchise. It started with this movie. This is the one that made people go, "Oh, he can actually like play like comedic characters and go out there." And he's so much fun in this. My favorite scene is him exploding the vault, and I've accidentally tied the bag too much, and him explaining the science to the Logan brothers and writing the chalk on the wall and just being like, this and this, you got energy, and it just heat, and it's just his whole thing behind that is just so fun. I could go on and on, but it is. I love this movie. This is great.
Knives Out, you say? Knives Out, the best screenplay of the 21st century?
I forgot about that detail. I'm sorry.
Yeah, remember that. Give it its praise.
Yeah, I do think this is an interesting movie because people brought Cody and I think Jeremy brought Mr. Doubtfire as being like one of their comfort movies. I think Logan Lucky over the last 7 years has become just one of my comfort movies. I absolutely adore this movie. It's mainly why I brought it on. I was like, if I'm going to throw a Tatum movie on here that, I think it'd be fun to talk about, I'm going to bring this one on here because I love everything about this movie. Even though we already brought up something about Rian Johnson, it like similar to like at least Soderbergh on this one, where I kind of felt this way whenever I saw trailers for this one. Like, oh, Soderbergh, another heist movie. Like, hasn't he done enough of them? And I saw it, and like, you know what? Kind of like Rian Johnson. Like, if all Rian Johnson wanted to make was like whodunit crime films, like I could care fucking less. Like they're all great. Like every heist movie Soderbergh does is fantastic. Like I also like he took elements of like probably one of his like at least don't want to say at least like kind of one of the lesser Ocean movie. He took No from Ocean's 12 a little bit by hiding intentionally hiding like half the heist from the audience to just kind of get you like in the end. Like perfect note on that one. It's great. I can go on a while on this one, but just know that this is one of my favorite movies, like of the 2010s. It's great.
Jeremy, you finally joined us again. You can talk.
Yeah. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I like this movie. This is only the second time I watched it. Like I watched it once when it first came out, and I kind of just remember going, "Yeah, it's kind of like it's hillbilly Ocean's 11." Like if they spelled Ocean OSHUN. You know what I mean? There you go. That's even better. But I enjoy it. Like this was the movie that sold me on Adam Driver. Like I was not necessarily like a fan or not a fan, and then when I saw this, like how he's able to just deadpan his comedy, like his stuff, the whole movie is all just so straight, and he's so good at all of his just as matter of fact deliveries. Like when they were insulting his arm, and he's like, "Well, actually, it's not my arm. This is my forearm and my hand," and he's like very specific about correcting that, even though it doesn't make any difference because it's his arm, but for him it matters, and that he's willing to follow his brother wherever he needs to go, like to do this. I really liked his character the most, I think, but it is a lot of fun. Yeah, this feels like it was written on a drunken weekend, like that they were having fun, like hanging out, and like just wrote a fun movie for everybody to watch with a fun premise that had been done many times but not done. There's not very many hillbilly heist movies that I can think of, especially not like this, not as intricate,
not as well
as this
made
movie
and
is.
intricately planned
Right.
out in the heist.
Yeah. It's and it's fairly charming. Like nobody really sucks in this movie. There's not like Dwight Yoakam's warden also just cracks me up. When he's like, "We don't have fires here. We don't have riots here." Like he just keeps like he's just in denial because he knows he has no control over anything, and that's supposed to be his job, and he just keeps going, "No." and he's a great actor, especially when you get these weird little specific parts that he shows up and does.
Crank
And
and
never
Panic
gets
Room.
any credit for. Yeah, Crank, Panic Room, like he can be gross and vicious, or he can just be over the top, or he can just be this guy. And this is just a guy who's at work and shit is not going the way it's supposed to, and he's just not dealing with it. And
Can
I
we
totally
talk
get
about the thing that has aged the best, the Game of Thrones Winds of Winter joke? That is, I remember that everyone in the audience laughing back in 2017, and even like watching it yesterday in 2025. That joke has aged like fucking wine. It is
The shows have moved ahead of the books.
yeah.
I was gonna say about the I had something I wanted to say about that scene because never mind. I'll try to come up with something else. Anybody else? Oh, no. The soundtrack to me, the first time I see it, I was still like trying to get used to the style of it. So like it was a little weird but fun. In the subsequent viewings, the soundtrack has been substantially growing on me as just being a part of this world and its charm. And also I love the connection that they have with Take Me Home Country Roads. I think that
2017
overarching change is great. Even though they think at first that Umbrella is her dad's favorite song until she starts singing. But yeah, I love honestly, I also really love the ending because it ends just before things could go wrong. Like it ends with them at the highest point that they could be.
Yeah.
How do we feel about Swank, her character in the movie? Like, I think it's... Is there a clear, like, we want to set up a sequel, or we want this to be a sort of late antagonist that is more on point of what's going on, but she can't do anything about it? Because I'm not like the biggest Hilary Swank fan, like as far as an actor. I just don't think I think it's kind of crazy that she has 2 Oscars, but I think she works well in the movie. I will admit I haven't seen either.
Great in Million Dollar Baby. So.
I gotta get to it. But I've never found her to be like, oh no, fuck.
I think first of all, I like at least the ending. They at least part of Jimmy's plan was take it from the wire. We'll say that. At least about the phone being cut off because you won't pay because they're tapping the phone. Definitely got taken from the wire. So Jimmy has to be a fan of the wire. So there you go. I just kind of feel Hilary Swank's character is a bit of a necessity. Like we have to show that it's being investigated, and that the investigation basically goes nowhere. But also at the same time, yeah, I do think Soderbergh is thinking like, what if I want to make another movie?
I don't really think the ending of the first Ocean's 11, where you have that sort of setup of it may be over for them, but is it over for Terry Benedict?
I don't even think like he has like an idea for a sequel, but he's like, if I wanted to do one, here's the avenue, which I do think is at least somewhat interesting.
I've been thinking about it a lot, about the whole sequel aspect. I guess this is wishful thinking. If the sequel is good, go for it. But like, I don't think it's necessary. I also
just don't think it's gonna happen now.
I know.
Is he waiting on his wife? Because she wrote the first one.
Yeah, that was There's a whole conversation we could have about the credited writer on this movie, which we don't need to get into.
Okay. Because I went down a rabbit hole and that was like,
it's nuts.
Do you want to talk about any bads? Because I think it's Hilary Swank.
What are you talking about?
I don't have anything. I just haven't seen it that many times, so like it doesn't have like that love for me. But like every time I watch it, I have a great time. Like I don't like I should watch it more, but I just
Yes, you
don't get
should.
around to it.
Right.
I really enjoy
My
it.
bad is that it ends. I wanted it just to keep going, and I wish it went.
You're
I
the
wish it
worst.
kept going for a while.
Shout out Jack Quaid, who I always forget is in the movie.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
he is so funny, but like I don't think of him as I just think of him as a guy. Like this is a character actor that they found, in the South or some shit. His whole bit of like I know all the Twitters.
I know all.
So good.
All the Twitters. I know everything there is to know about computers.
Put container 1 into container 2. Put container 2 into container 3.
Yes.
Run.
Yeah.
And he's like a fraction of a second before the explosion would have burned his face off. I'm just like that. Me and my roommate were watching that, and we were just laughing at how close that was.
Just the chemistry just between like him and the other brother is just so good. Like they're going up to them to bring him into the heist. He's like our brother says you need us to open the vault, just like in broad daylight. He's like, yeah. He wakes him up at their house like, oh, how come you had a minute to think you were dead asleep 2 seconds ago?
Like my favorite part of the movie is when they've just left the heist. Like you think they're doing their thing. He calls the police and he's like, yeah, it's this purple car, like for sure. Like I know I saw him. And they pull over like the old lady from the salon. I think is that the same lady? Like the one that was like nagging on him. And like the cops got her. He's like, all right, did you get out of the car? Do as I say. And like they fly by him. And the other deputy's like, hey, and he goes, hey, can you focus here? We got to get this lady under control. Like, it's my favorite. It's the funniest part of the movie because it's just like it's just so good. Like that's the best joke. I feel like it's my favorite anyway. That and the guy that's on break. Like they see the smoke going out of the room, and they open the door, and he's like, well, I'm on what you call a 20, and I got 4 left in my 20, and he just. I'm like, that's a hero right there. That's the hero of the movie. Love that guy.
I mean, guy who looks like Michael.
Like I don't have anything negative to say about this, honestly.
Okay, let's get scores. Mark, you brought it. What's your score?
It's 5-star movie. I love it, and I love it more and more I watch it.
Jeremy.
Like I said, this is my second time. I'm going to give it 3.5, but I could see liking more as I rewatch it. This is a rewatchable movie for sure. But I want to say right now 3.5 stars, just because there's too much NASCAR. That's the negative. Is NASCAR.
You don't want to join the NASCAR Fantasy League, Joseph?
I love Stick. I'm a big fan of Stick. Well, how goes it? Well, I'm sitting on this side of the table wearing a onesie. How do you think it's going? And maybe the classic, you sucked my arm off.
What's your score, Joseph?
This is my 4th time watching it. I don't think I have any big flaws with it, so I'm going to go 5 out of 5 stars too. I really, really love this movie.
4 stars. Not an all-timer for me. Sorry, Mark. Dick.
5 stars, 1 of Soderbergh's best. We're dealing with science here.
Fair enough. All right, we're going to close out the night with Lone Star. I just want to get this out of the way. I was very wrong. I was very wrong on my first watch. Don't know. Maybe I logged the wrong movie. I don't remember, but I was thoroughly enthralled this time watching it. So I had the wrong movie. Jake, I appreciate you. Let's talk about the goods.
The acting.
That ending, good, right?
Oh, I thought we were going to wait to talk about the ending.
No, we will.
What made me love the film is
how we jump right into the ending. Like, that's crazy. We cannot do that.
Why? It's happy-go-lucky as fuck. Yeah, I think this
Mhm.
movie is super well paced. As somebody that doesn't notice like pacing that well, I think this movie balances like the flashbacks, the story, how it intertwines everything perfectly together. I think all the characters are like awesome in this movie. Like I think they are like the perfect blend of every like Matthew McConaughey. Like they're just like this is early McConaughey too, right?
This is
Like
this is like before he's a leading man. Like you could not
yeah, like
do this with
Oh,
him
yeah.
at any time.
This is the same year as A Time to Kill.
Mm-hmm.
like he is so good in this movie. And how complex like his this relationship with like his dad is and like how they flush throughout that entire story and like how he has to kind of like reconcile with what his dad like did like it's kind of a crazy like turn and it's just they do such a well that's why the pacing is the one thing I always that the thing that stood out so well to me at this time. um Everybody else can go from there. I just want to get that on the table.
So I watched this for the first time kind of on a limb. I wanted to watch it forever. I think Paul had told me that I would enjoy this. And I watched it and really, really enjoyed it. I loved it. I was just like enthralled. And I just, I generally with Roundtable, my choices are an underrated sci-fi or fantasy film. And so I took a little bit of a different direction by picking a underrated neo-western from the 90s. I love the themes and the world building, which is sort of weird to say about a movie that's like contemporary, quote unquote, but like how it makes this town feel so real and the communities that that live in the town of the different races and how that is sort of a part of the movie's themes of borders. And it's not just with the communities, but also in families and the familial bonds. And I'm also just a sucker for father-son relationships and like how they're just so kind of just weird at points in your life when you think about your father. And the fact that this is Chris Cooper, I don't know how old he was when he was making this, thinking about his dad who was younger than him in his prime, taking out this horrible, corrupt Chris Christopherson, is really cool and fascinating about history and how sometimes we will choose to change history, like the history revisionism, that the whole scene in the school where you've got the white people arguing that that's not what happened at the Alamo, and you've got the Spanish and Mexican community going like, no, we are majority of this town, and we are saying that this is what should happen. We don't want to be reminded of the history, and that coming into play with the ending of we are going to consciously make this decision to ignore our history and our past. And I think that's what the movie's about, is sometimes we don't want to think about the past and how horrible it is. And there is something guilty about wanting to ignore it, but there is something that's you 100% relate to and understand. Is I wouldn't want to be thinking and knowing about this history that I had that was out of my control. That's what makes it so effective, is for me at least, is that theme.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off that, like specifically with the school scene, which is very short and stuff. But like you're talking about this community where three different races like are coexisting, and you see that like everybody's had to have made concessions. Like that's like Chris Christopherson ruled everything with an iron fist kind of a thing, and then you see through just the storytelling that Matthew McConaughey as the sheriff, that character worked with people and gave in a little bit here and gave in a little bit there, but all this tension is still right under the surface.
He also
the
did
school
bad
scene
things.
shows you, the school scene shows you how much like tension and stuff, even though everybody's keeping it together town wise, that really all of that stuff is still there. And the prejudice is sitting, it's all skin deep right there, and it could blow at any time. And it shows how good he was at like keeping everybody kind of happy. You had to keep everybody happy. And just aside from exploring the father son Chris Cooper stuff, like that's interesting. Like that makes it feel very real and contemporary, like Jake said. So it's agreeing 100%.
To answer Jake's question about how old Chris Cooper was, 44-ish when he made this movie.
So yeah, it's funny because that was a question that Paul had asked me. It's like, what movie does Matthew McConaughey play Chris Cooper's father? And I just had to be like, what? How does that work?
Yeah,
I think it's said we asked that in a trivia match this year where it was just like, and then somebody was like, well, it's old, and they're like, well, I guess Chris Christopherson, and then I think somebody stole it, was like, he plays him in flashbacks. Like, it's like the
I'd like to make
like,
it clear, I did not write that question.
Well, send your hate to Jake at gmail.com.
There are 2 John Sayles movies that I have seen this year for the first time. This and 8 Men Out. I really like both of them. I can't wait to see both of them again because I want to see how they end up stacking for me on my year-end list of favorite first-time watches in a year. One thing, Cody talked about the pacing, which I think is also really well done here. I also went into this movie expecting a mystery movie predominantly, and it does. It does have some like important themes about that and important scenes that build up to like figuring out who the skull belongs to. But I also thought it was clever that it was not just about that. Like I can imagine John Sayles was and the other filmmakers were thinking, once the mystery is revealed, you got to have something else that can stick with the audience. So like I really love how they focus so much on building these characters, and it's a whole collection of them also there that they all feel like real characters to me in there, and the world feels very well realized. That I'm glad that I'm ultimately glad that they didn't just focus on the mystery aspect, because it gives you something still as real after the aura of the mystery is gone after the first watch.
The movie is about so much more than just the mystery, which I thought
really
love.
So want to talk about the ending?
Can I, before we talk about the ending, Joseph, did you recognize the voice of Pillar, the main love interest in the movie?
So like, are you talking about
Elizabeth Pena?
Yeah. Yes and no. Like, I recognized who she was. I know she's the voice of. Can I say she's the voice?
Yeah, yes, you can say, please, because I didn't know it until after I watched the movie and went, "Oh my god, that's her."
Yeah. So I only knew that I only recognized her because she's the voice of Mirage in The Incredibles. Yes.
She has such a entrancing.
I feel like I was in such an inside joke that I didn't get, and then you told me it, and I still don't fucking what. Cool.
The main female lead of the movie is the voice of Mirage in The Incredibles, and when you realize that, you go, "Oh my god, that's why her voice is so awesome and soothing."
Yeah.
I love the connection. I was just like, "Oh, that's so cool." She was Mirage.
So that's what you wanted to bring up before we brought up the ending?
Oh, yes. And also then you find out that they're brother and sister and they fucked. We're just going to get into it. That's the ending. And that's, to me, that's what made me go, this is a great movie this is like a masterpiece, because it just goes back to the school conversation.
It was fine, and then they fuck, and then that's when it becomes a masterpiece.
And nobody sees that coming. You're obviously not going to see that. You're hinted at with McConaughey stopping him with the relationship and being like, you can't see her. Obviously, they don't go more into that, but then you find out later. And that's just, it's so... I love it because it works. It's so effective. Like, I'm not just like, this is a shocking twist. To me, it works because it plays into the story.
It's just such a wild way to end your movie. Of like,
forget the
of like you bring it up that like, hey, like him finding out that this is his sister, and then at the end of the movie, they're like, well, I guess we don't have to tell anybody about it. And
I can't have kids.
And she's like, it's okay, I can't have kids.
I'm
I was
what
like,
the fuck? That's
I just like just dry
There are
heave.
plenty of
for a
fish
minute.
in the sea. You do not have to settle for you.
But I do think it is a futile decision, whether they know it or not.
Like I appreciate they have to address it, like because I kind of saw it coming. I was like, I knew it was a possibility that that's where it was going to go. Like the flashback at the movie theater or the drive-in. I was like,
Yeah.
why are they acting so violently towards these kids? And I was like, wait a minute, something's like up here. Like it like triggered the thought, and I was like, God, I hope this isn't it. I was like, please don't old boy me at the end of this thing, and then they do it, and I was like,
It's less creepy than Old Boy.
It seems so unnecessary to
yeah,
do that.
obviously.
Yes.
Like
But
it's such a cool story, and the mystery
We
is
draw the
neat,
line
and the
of which
characters
one's
are cool.
creepier. Both not great.
And I just feel like they just go, "What if they're brother and sister?" And that's why there's tension. And these people didn't talk. And I'm like, that's such an odd way to end this.
Such a big downer.
And then the
honestly.
conversation. I'm not saying it's bad. Like if it helps, like if you're like, "Oh, that's the cherry on top." All right. I just feel like it's weird that we sandwich this show with rape and incest. That's fun.
Before we move on, there's one thing we haven't talked about, and that is Miles Dyson himself, Joe Morton, showing up with his whole. That's another like storyline in the movie, because this movie has like just is about a lot, and that is a whole thing about father and son relationships. That I think is interesting, and how he's just someone who left this town and has to come back and deal with this father who abandoned him when he was young, and the person he has become. I really like there's the scene where his son, Joe Morton's son, visits his grandfather, and he says something like, "My dad taught me like you start from scratch when you're born. You don't," because there's a whole sort of history about fathers and our relationships. And the movie's like, you have nothing going for you when you're born. You start from scratch, and that echoes the ending when Elizabeth Pena's like, let's just start again. Let's start from like I think she literally says, let's start from scratch. So I think that also plays into the movie as well in a really interesting matter of some of us because some of us are who we are because of the history that our parents had to deal with, and some of us we try to avoid that to be our own people. I think that's just is interesting about the human beings and how we deal with our issues. I love that shit. It's really interesting. This movie's really good, guys, and I want more people to watch it.
It is. Yeah, it's really good. I was blown away by when I watched it the second time. Like, I was like, I don't know why I gave it 3 stars, but I did a lot of disservice like in the past when I watched like movie after movie after movie so often, and then I just kind of all ran together. So, but no, this one was awesome. Like it's great. I think it's fucked up. Ending's not great, like for like characters wise, but like I think it's kind of the perfect ending. Like I think it is like because they have to do like an ultimate settle with past thing that is like how do you reconcile that? And then they deem to reconcile it, but if you fast forward, that probably not the other. Like I just I think there's a lot of trauma there that's built up. Like it's just gotta be rough. So, yeah. Anybody else? Mark, you seem to disagree with me on perfect ending.
I mean, I understand what you guys are saying. It's just such a weird way to end the movie, and it just leaves such a weird taste in your mouth, especially when I understand them wanting to bury the past. I do think it is weird, like, okay, we're going to choose to bury the past, but we're also going to continue in this relationship. Like, that is just the weirdest fucking thing. And, like, I guess, like, I'll be, like, kind of the lone guy to talk about negative series. Like, I had watched this movie before, at least like whenever going through McConaughey, and I was kind of curious about watching it again because going back to what Joseph said, at least about like this being kind of a mystery story. Like to me, those were the most interesting parts of this movie. Like him investigating the murder, going deeper into his father's past, us learning about like Chris Gustafson and like this like dictator sheriff, like all that was great. To me, though, and even going back and watching this movie, the moment I think we kind of dig deeper in the town, I kind of cared a little bit less. It's not like the stories are bad. It's just like am much more invested in what's going on with Chris Cooper finding about his dad than I am about finding out what's going on in this base and the troubles at the school. And I just don't care about that as much. It was also a thing this is also just maybe a little bit inside baseball for me, just because I lived or kind of at least close-ish around the border. I was really trying to think of where is the community around the border that has a split white and Mexican population, but also has a distinct black population in town. And it's I don't think that exists. That I was kind of thinking about that the whole time of it not a bad thing on the movie, but it's it was a thing that just it kept going through my head. But
get out of baseball. Get out of it. Leave it at the door.
But yeah, to me, at least that there are parts in this that I really like, and then it gets a little bit muddy there. Although I can't say it's all the way bad, because I do think the ending is fascinating, because I cannot stop thinking about it. I couldn't stop thinking about it when I first watched it, and that's the same now.
So I have one negative, that's a real negative, and that's the whole scene with Frances McDormand. It comes up out of nowhere.
Get it.
And again, I don't think the scene is the problem. She gives a line that makes the scene lose all credibility. When she's talking about one of the football players and the guy they drafted or the guy that something, and she says he runs a 3.4 40. That's inhumanly fast. Nobody's that fast. Usain Bolt's not that fast. So I heard it and I couldn't unhear it, because I'm sure she meant to say 4.3, but instead she said 3.4, and my brain just collapsed. That whole scene, I was like, okay, let's move on. Let's go back to where we were.
I'd also like to point out
out of this house.
She's watching an A&M game, and then she turns off the TV and says, "Oh, those Longhorns going to have a heck of a team this year." And the fuck are you talking about? You're just watching an A&M game. They're playing the Sooners.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
So just knew the inevitable that Texas A&M would just go not have a great season.
Well, it was the 90s. We were good in the 90s. Okay, Wrecking Crew. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Want to give stars? Jake, it's your movie. You're frozen.
Yeah, I feel like frozen.
Joseph.
I don't have immediate negatives. Maybe the Frances McDormand scene. I can.
Hello,
I can understand.
testing 1 2 1 2.
You're back.
There he is.
I'm back. Sorry. Yes, I think this movie is a masterpiece. I'm giving this 5 stars.
Joseph.
Okay, I would like to I want to rewatch it because I think it's really good. Right now, 4 stars out of 5.
Okay. Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 4 too. This is a first time watch for me, so I would like to peel it back again. Maybe in a couple months, or run it through again and see if, knowing how it ends, I can adjust to the rest of the movie. Because the old boy Chinatown ending, it bothers me. But it's a very good movie. Yeah, 4 stars. Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah, I think first time watch I had around 3.5 stars, and I think that's about right for me. It's 3.5. It's a good movie. I just wish I liked the other parts as much as I like the main story.
First came in at 3 stars. I'm at 4 stars. I think it's a really solid movie. I think it could go up. The ending again, second time watch caught me off guard. For the second time, I forgot about that. So it's a solid film. Okay, that's the show. Great banter, great conversations from all the panelists.
Just came in under 2 hours.
Yes, thank you all for being on. Again, Roundtable on a bit of a hiatus. Not that we're going anywhere. I kind of want to come back and do themes. Not saying that it has to be, but I want to do maybe a little bit more, some more themed episodes in the future. But yeah, we're gonna be break until next year. at this point, and then we'll be back into our normal schedule. I'm going to try to pick a date that keeps people to come back in more often, and then not to do Sundays as much. But we'll see how that all works. Hell, we might still be on Sundays. Who knows how this is all going to work? But that's the show. We will see you next year.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.